welcome to the Shotokan Chronicles. In today's video, should you teach in Japanese or in the language that you speak in your own country? But first, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Should we be teaching karate using Japanese in a non-Japanese nation? My opinion on this may be controversial and strike up some conversation. First off, karate is a Japanese art and therefore should be taught in Japanese. Well, that's not completely true. Karate was created in Okinawa. The Okinawan language is a different dialect than Japanese. Master Funakoshi changed a lot of the Okinawan terms for the techniques and the kata when he moved to mainland Japan. And this caused a lot of upset with his colleagues back in Okinawa. His changes were made to make the art more palatable to the Japanese, where it was more of a Chinese related art and a lot of the terminology was more Chinese related. When karate traveled around the world, it was for the most part taught by Japanese speaking instructors. They would teach classes in Japanese and sometimes have an interpreter. Here's where the problem lies. Non-Japanese instructors would go on to teach karate using Japanese terms, and in many cases they would brutalize the language. Now, don't get me wrong. Some instructors would become fluent in Japanese and would be able to convey the information that they were teaching correctly. And some others learned enough to be able to still teach classes efficiently with Japanese. But teaching in the language of your own nation, is this better? Some dojos have strictly changed from Japanese to teaching in whatever their native language is. This makes it easier for students and instructors to communicate in the class. My opinion is one of respect to the language and the Japanese culture. I don't want to disrespect the language of the art. I don't really pronounce some of the words correctly, and I don't want to disrespect the Japanese culture and language because of that. Here's the line that I think we have to straddle. We should be teaching a mixture of the language that we speak in our own nation and Japanese. I think that it is more effective to teach, especially to children, in our native language, with techniques being taught in both Japanese and whatever languages that you speak naturally. So in my case, English. We should use the Japanese in these cases and then explain them better in English. So if you're going to call out oizuki, you can say face punch or oizuki, or both of them. So step forward, oizuki, face punch. That way, the students will learn the Japanese as well. But be sure that you're pronouncing the words correctly. Now, the dojo-kun. This is a little different. My opinion on the dojo-kun in Japanese differs from techniques. The dojo-kun spoken in English, for example, is very flat when recited at the end of class. The dojo-kun in Japanese is more powerful and has a much more philosophical meaning, especially if you understand what you're saying. I think the dojo-kun should be spoken in Japanese at the end of each class, with constantly going back and teaching what the Japanese terms are for the dojo-kun, so that the students know what each dojo-kun actually means. So what is your opinion on the language of teaching karate? Should we be teaching 100% Japanese outside of Japan? Leave your comments below. To see some of my other videos, click on the screens that'll be popping up here and here. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time right here on the Shotokan Chronicles.